What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. Matt here. And if you've been following us on Instagram, you saw that on Thursday, I went and saw Jesus Christ Superstar on the national tour. Says it's the 50th anniversary tour. This premiered in 1971. So I don't know if they've been on tour for the last 3 years or not, because I didn't do my research or not. But on this week's episode, I'm going to give a little bit of a mini review of that stage production, my thoughts on the show overall. I'm not going to get into all the different versions and the movies and the history. We'll save that for a full episode. And then got a few other random fun things that we'll throw in after there. So stay tuned. If there's specific things that you are interested in, or if you don't really care about my thoughts on this, check out the time codes and the podcast description or the YouTube description, and feel free to jump wherever you want. Enjoy your listening pleasure as it is. So, Jesus Christ Superstar. It is, like I said, it's been going for over 50 years. The concept album was staged on Broadway in 1971. It's got lyrics by Tim Rice and the music by Andrew Lloyd Webber. It was their second project they worked on together after Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So I had minimal experience with this going into it. I had seen the 1973 movie, and I had also watched it was a 2012 arena tour that they did with Tim Minchin as Judas Iscariot, and that was a very modernized, like Occupy Wall Street coded revolution staging of it. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect with this, because the 1973 movie is very 70s coded. And they did a lot of filming on that one in like Israel, and there's tanks and everything. So I was going into this not quite knowing what to expect. I didn't really, when I saw the movies, none of it really connected with me. So I wasn't listening to the soundtrack a ton. I have people who have told me they've loved this musical. I've had others being raised fairly religious and conservative. This was never a musical that I watched growing up, partially because you'd think that you're like, it's about Jesus, but there's enough things in there that could be considered slightly heretical, depending on how you look at it, like insinuating that Jesus had a relationship with Mary Magdalene, things like that, and just a lot of the coding, like not showing, I guess, spoilers for Jesus Christ Superstar if you haven't seen it in the past 50 years and aren't familiar with the story of Jesus overall. But the ending of it doesn't end with the resurrection or anything like that. It ends after Jesus dies on the cross, after the crucifixion. So there's lots of references to him just being a man in Mary's songs and Judas's songs, not really ever saying if they believe that he is the Son of God. So all that to say, this was never something that I watched growing up. So I went into this, and I ended up going solo. The person I usually go with was had other plans, sick, which worked out really well, because then I just had so much more space and was able to just kind of soak it in and relax. And then I've kind of, since I saw it, I have now gone back and rewatched the 2012 arena tour, and I also watched the 2018 NBC Live version that they did with John Legend as Jesus, that he produced, and that I believe he also won an Emmy for that I was seeing. And the portrayals across them are vastly different. The staging is very different in both of those and what I saw on this Broadway tour. I would say I'm not quite sure where this falls on my list. I think, I don't know. I'll have to give more thought to it, because my top Broadway one is probably Book of Mormon, just because it was so fun, so much energy. I loved it. Next is probably Hamilton. Then we're going with probably Rent, then Wicked, and then Aladdin was actually really good, so it might go up there. Phantom, and then I think I would do this above Jagged Little Pill. Oh, and Les Mis, that I just saw less than a month ago. Les Mis is at least above Phantom, probably above Aladdin too, but it doesn't crack Book of Mormon, Hamilton, or Rent in my book. It's close with Wicked, but I don't think it tops Wicked. Wicked, I just love the energy, a lot more upbeat, a lot more of a fun musical, even though there's some dark themes in it. But it's a rock opera, which I love, a little more modern take on a musical, which I also love. The staging on this tour, pretty much everyone's wearing joggers and zip up hoodies, baggy like robe style hoodies. But the set was really neat. It had, I guess you could say it was kind of heretical. It's kind of an upside down cross that the staging that they walked down and lit. I'll insert a picture in here of it that I found online from King Herod's thing. But there was a lot of controversy around this when it came out because it's a very loose interpretation of it. Things are told through Judas Iscariot. The one who betrayed Jesus is the narrator of it. In the original staging and in the version that I saw on the national tour, King Herod's song is performed as like a drag queen. So a lot of fun, a lot of energy. Probably not the most biblically accurate thing if you care about things like that. But this cast was fantastic. I saw it on opening night. That's when I got my season tickets for. And there's always some like slight bugs I feel like they have to work out with some technical issues. So there were some times where because they have a full band on stage, just like they did with Rent, just like they did with Jagged Little Pill, the guitars, everything like that on stage. Jesus plays guitar at sometimes. Jesus was portrayed by Jack Hopewell in this, and he did a really good job with it. And a lot of the staging has to do, and the choreography has to do with the microphones and how they interact with those. So you have the priests and the Pharisees. They had like staffs that had mics on the other end that they'd be twirling those when it's time to sing. They'd be tapping them on the ground. There's a lot. The choreography was a lot more fun than I was expecting and that I remembered. So the production level was so good. I really liked it. It always freaks me out because I'm never expecting it when they start the music and the cast runs down the aisles yelling. Always throws me off. Every single time gets a jump out of me. But that's how this opens. The overture also is so good on this. That opens up the musical. Love the opening, sets the tone, gets right into it with Heaven on Their Minds, which is sung by Judas, which is one of my favorite songs from this production. So since I saw it, I've been listening to the soundtrack a lot more too. There's really 3 songs that are my standouts I've been going to on the one. Heaven on Their Minds, which is sung by Judas. LV Ellis plays Judas in this tour, and he was really good. When he first came out and opened Heaven on Their Minds, he wasn't emoting as much. So how this production is staged, they're tied to a mic stand, and that's when you're taking the power and the energies when you're grabbing the mic. So you'd have Judas taking it away from Jesus at times, from Mary at times, but for the most part, standing and singing, not doing a whole bunch of emoting. And I was kind of paying attention because I was curious to see how it was going to play out. Because I'm like, man, we're just given wooden performances, then that's just going to seem like you're just performing a concert, so to speak. And so I didn't know what to expect from that. But as the play progressed, I thought it was brilliant, the choices that he made. As you're seeing Judas's character arc is how he goes. By the end, he was the most expressive character on stage. So hats off to LV Ellis and his portrayal as you're seeing everything the torment Judas is going through as he's trying to kind of protect Jesus and all of them from crowds, everything, dealing with his internal struggle with betraying him and that being what he wants to do and him being set up basically for failure. Also apologize if the mic's picking this up. I think I'm getting a delivery and my dog is going banana sandwiches upstairs. So LV Ellis, fantastic as Judas. Heaven on Their Minds, so good. All the supporting cast and the company, great. Dancing, staging, choreography, everything, fantastic. Next kind of highlight for me is I Don't Know How to Love Him, which is Mary Magdalene's song. after interacting with Jesus when she's dealing with these feelings. And if you don't know biblical history or this, Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. So she's talking about how she's loved so many men before in different ways. And it's different. And she doesn't know how to come to terms and how to properly love Jesus with this. And Jaden Dominique played Mary Magdalene in this tour and production. And the power in her voice, so good, so fantastic. She crushed all of her songs in there. It was a standout that will be sticking with me for a long time, that performance. And then the third one that I really enjoy is the Gethsemane song. So it's Gethsemane and I Only Want to Say. It was performed, like I said, Jack Hopewell played Jesus. He did a fantastic job. And it's when, again, biblical history lesson here. This could have been an Easter episode. We could have been themed for holiday. So you're getting it early. After Jesus does his Last Supper with his disciples, he goes to the garden to pray. That's when everyone that's supposed to be with him falls asleep. That's when Judas comes, betrays him. He's arrested. So this is when he's praying to God to, if he can, take this cup away from him. Don't make him go through with this, having to die and sacrifice himself for everyone. So just a very emotional song, and the range that Jack Hopewell hit and Jesus in this, so good. Actually playing guitar some in it too. So great song, great performances. Other standouts to me, I hinted at it before, was the King Herod song. That number, Herod was played by, see, this is the one I didn't take notes on, but Herod was played in this by Alec Diem. And Alec did a fantastic job in the dancing. He's wearing those platform boots, those kinky boots, another musical reference there, and just gold, glitter. And it was just such a fun staging. He did great. And so great song there. And also everything by Caiaphas. If you have not seen this, the role of Caiaphas, who's he's the high priest, and he's the one that wants Jesus to be taken out, crucified, killed. The range that person has in this, they're a bass. They go, oh, like they're so low and deep as they're singing. And it actually sounds good and is in the right key. But Grant Hodges, fantastic as Caiaphas. And it's something that's something that's consistent in most productions I've seen. And it is just so damn impressive. So I think overall, a couple things that I wasn't expecting. It's something that weird. So the main kind of theme song, the Superstar, is played after Jesus is whipped and right before and as he's being crucified. Such an upbeat song, which tonal shifts, I get what they're doing in it. And you can look at it as a way as ultimately, if you're a Christian, things like that the crucifixion, the sacrifice of Jesus is a very redemptive and a moment that causes you to rejoice. If you're going on that, you believe that bring you freedom, and that's what paid the debt so you have eternal life. So I could see that being an upbeat song, but tonally with the play, kind of weird choice. And then it very abruptly ends. Shortly after that, then you have Jesus doing his last breaths, saying, my God, why have you forgotten me? And all that stuff. And then in this production, Jesus comes down, he sits on stage next to Judas because Judas is dead. And then just goes to black. And then everyone comes out, takes their bows. And so it's a short play. I think it's the shortest musical that I've seen. It clocks in at about 96 minutes. They perform, at least on this tour, they're performing it straight through, no intermission. And so it flew by, and the cast kept the energy up the whole time, the production and the shit together. It was great. If you have a chance, I would recommend you go out and see this. Just because the vocal performances that are given are good, and it's something unique and different than a lot of the musicals out there. So, like I said, it's not going to be one of my top ones, my favorites, but I've had the song stuck in my head the last 5 days. I've been listening to them more. Um, as I've been listening to them more, watching them more, some of the other songs are growing on me. And so I'd recommend it. I think this might actually, of the versions out there, the 2018 version with John Legend is actually really good. All the performances are really good. John Legend doesn't hit the range of some of the other Jesuses. If I was actually knew my shit about music, I'd be able to tell you what key it usually is, and he's different, but still really good. Judas in that performance is really good. Alice Cooper plays Herod in that. He does not play it as a drag queen though. And then the Alice Cooper was on the original Broadway, was Alice Cooper too, and the Broadway recording, anyways, I should say, to clarify. So, and I want to shout him out because he was fantastic in it. In the 2018 version, is Brandon Victor Dixon played Judas, and he also played Tom Collins in the Fox Live version of Rent, which I've shit on a decent amount, but he was really good in that, and he gives a great vocal performance as Judas in there. So check that out. And then, like I said, the arena tour version, I don't love how they modernized it. The 2012 version, which is available on Broadway HD, which Broadway HD is also where you can find the 2018 version that NBC did live with John Legend, which is bullshit. It should be on Peacock. And Broadway HD, I have ranted about this almost more than anything else on this podcast, that their own app and everything is such dog shit and it's bullshit that I wish I would have known ahead of time and just done it as an add-on to my Amazon, because you cannot even, they don't have a smart TV app. They do not have a like Xbox, PlayStation, anything like that app that you can get. They might on a Kindle Fire Stick, but I don't have one of those. I don't know. And so I tried to do the screen mirroring from my phone to my TV. They have locks in place, so it's protected content, so you can't even fucking screen mirror. So I had to watch it on my phone instead of I could have on my laptop too, but I couldn't watch it on my TV, no matter what I did. And I'm like, this is bullshit. So, but the 2012 Arena Tour version, Ben Forster plays Jesus in it and does a fantastic job. And then, like I said before, Tim Minchin plays Judas Iscariot, and he was actually the reason I first watched this Jesus Christ Superstar. And the live arena tour was the first version of it I watched, because I was rewatching Californication. And in season, it's either 5 or 6, Tim Minchin comes in, it's season 6, as musician, rocker Atticus Fetch. And he plays a key role in it, is writing a musical. He's funny in it. He's fantastic. He's got a unique voice that I really enjoyed. And so that's why I went and watched this. And he is so good in that role. So good. So highly recommend checking that out just for the performances. Again, I don't like the modernization and how they chose to stage it, and how they reworked that. But all the songs and vocal performances are so good in that version. And that's going to do it. Those are my thoughts on Jesus Christ Superstar. If it came here, I'd probably go again. I'm not going to travel long ways to see it. It's not like that important to me, but it was good. It was neat to see live. It made me more invested and interested in this show and this production going forward. So that's a win for me. So Jesus Christ Superstar, those are my thoughts. Now I'm going to do my, like I said, Tim Minchin. I not discovered him, but when I discovered him personally was in Californication, and there's a song that he sings in there. It's called So Long, they write, and it was so good. And it made me think about other original songs that are in TV shows. So I'm going to do my top 5 original songs from TV shows. I'm not saying they're the best ones. I'm saying these are some of my favorites that have come out of different TV shows. Then I'll do some honorable mentions just so I can throw some different ones in there. And these aren't in any particular order. Those are just 5 I wanted to highlight. And the first one I'm going to highlight is a song that I've talked about on here a decent amount, and that is Allie's song from Dave. It was in Dave season 2, and it is now available. You can get the song iTunes, Spotify, because Lil Dicky released his album Peanut. That is songs from Dave. So you can get the full version of Allie's song on there, and it has an extra verse that you don't get to hear in the TV show. And it is so good. Even if you haven't seen the show, it's such a good song, and the beat is catchy and it's emotional, and I love it. So that's one of my favorites. Another one is going to be So Long from Californication season 6. It's in a few episodes throughout the season because they're in the course of writing it and everything like that. But the finale is when the song's really premiered and you get to hear it in its full, and it's just really good. I recommend it. If you haven't watched Californication, it's a great show. Some of the stuff probably doesn't age quite as well as a Showtime series. It ran 7 seasons. Season 7 is rough, in my opinion. The first 6 seasons, fairly solid. The first few, very solid. David Duchovny, fantastic as Hank Moody, this debaucherous writer, and irreverent writer. So lots of sex and nudity. So if that's not your thing, do not watch Californication. Just go to YouTube and search the song So Long Californication, or you could do So Long Tim Minchin. Search that, listen to it. It's great. You won't regret doing it. Next is going to be from a TV series I've talked about on here before that I feel like was canceled far too early. And that is going to be, the song is Gallivant, and the series is Gallivant, obviously. It's the main theme that plays throughout all the episodes of season 1. But in season 1, the first episode opens up with a longer version of the song, telling the tale of Gallivant. It is fun. It is catchy. It will get stuck in your head. It is good. And if you have not watched Gallivant, there's only 2 seasons out there. What are you doing? It's on either Disney Plus or Hulu. Go do that. Watch Gallivant. Next is going to be my first one from the show. I'm going to have another one from it, and then like 5 honorable mentions. And that's going to be Rewrite the Story from Smash Season 2. So Smash is probably my favorite musical TV series out there. And there's some tonal shifts between season 1 and 2. Season 1 is about this production of a Marilyn Monroe musical that ends up being titled Bombshell, but it deals with 2 actresses, 2 performers kind of battling for that lead role with Megan Hilty and Catherine McPhee. And so they both have fantastic voices and they are so good in it. But season 2, Catherine McPhee's character goes and starts producing another musical with Jeremy Jordan. And this song, Rewrite the Story, is one they perform and sing together from the musical they're producing called The Hit List. And it is so good. It is catchy. It was written by Pasek and Paul, who did a lot of they did all Dear Evan Hansen. They did The Greatest Showman. And they did a lot of the songs for The Hit List in season 2 of Smash. So they did a great job writing them. I really like their musical style. Modern, kind of poppy, but with a lot of heart and kind of, musical theater vibes going on still. And so Rewrite This Story, so good. Smash is another one. If you haven't watched it, you should. If you even remotely like musicals, watch it. Or at least go listen to the song on YouTube. Again, all these songs you can find on YouTube. My 5th one, I have like 8 honorable mentions because my 5th one was hard to narrow down. But I think I'm going to go with Caught in the Storm, which is also from Smash Season 2. It is also one from the Hit List that is performed by Catherine McPhee and Jeremy Jordan. They sound great singing together. It is a very emotional song. It's just so damn good. I don't have much more to say about it. Just go listen to it. Go watch Smash. And then here's some honorable mentions. This is a mini episode. We haven't had a proper mini episode in a few weeks. So I'll keep it shorter, and I'm just going to rattle through these that are ones that you all should know. And then drop in the comments on YouTube or on our Instagram if you're listening on podcast feeds. Go let us know on there. What are some of your favorite songs from TV series? It doesn't even need to be a musical series, because one I've gotten here, 5,000 Candles in the Wind, by Mouse Rat / Andy Dwyer / I don't remember what all other names they went with the band, but there were an insane number of names for him. The Lil Sebastian Memorial Song from Parks and Rec. Another banger, Let's Go to the Mall from How I Met Your Mother by the one and only Robin Sparkles. Another one is Two Beavers Are Better Than One, also by Robin Sparkles and How I Met Your Mother. Then you've got from Modern Family. This I had forgotten about completely until there has been a trend going around on Twitter X that's like, who's got that one sitcom clip? And then there were spinoffs, who's got that one It's Always Sunny clip, Modern Family clip, all of these. And so that's the best thing I've seen on Twitter in forever. People just sharing great clips from sitcoms. And that's the kind of shit that has kept me from quitting Twitter so far. But then this weekend it was all just troll bullshit. But that stuff, great. And the song is the In the Moonlight, Do Me by Haley's Boyfriend. And it's great. Go YouTube it, Google it if you haven't heard it. That whole scene, so good. Some other ones from Smash that I love are Let Me Be Your Star, Don't Forget Me. Those are both ones from the Marilyn musical from Bombshell that both Megan Hilty and Katharine McPhee perform so well. I Heard Your Voice in a Dream is one that Jeremy Jordan and Katharine McPhee perform from season 2. The Love I Meant to Say is a very heartbreaking one, especially at the time that it happens in the show. That's performed by Jeremy Jordan. And then closing it out is one of the most epic ones, and one that I actually clipped in one of the last episodes, and that's A Little Bit Alexis from Schitt's Creek. So good. Because don't you forget that she's a Lamborghini. She's a Hollywood star. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. I know it's been a bit rocky so far. We're getting off to a weird start with 2024 in the podcast. So hopefully we're going to find a groove. In the next few weeks, we're going to have an episode with Brad updating our top 5 musical songs overall, and kind of commenting on some of our previous ones. So I just need to figure out recording times and doing that. If you have suggestions for other things you want to see on the podcast, any topics, any top 5s you either want us to say, or hell, if there's anyone who wants to hop on and do one of these on here, let me know. We can have some fun. As long as you're not throwing around slurs or anything that's going to get us canceled, then I'll release the episode. Not opposed to bringing other people on here, different dynamic, mixing it up, have some fun with it. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, following, because I know you're all doing that, especially if you've made it this far. You guys rock. Keep on keeping on. And don't forget, Valentine's Day is in a week, so we will have a new episode on Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll mix something up and do something special for that episode, but don't hold me to that. So this is your 1 week notice. If you're listening to it later, then I guess hopefully you didn't already forget. Valentine's Day is in a week, guys. If you have wife, girlfriend, both, I don't judge, I guess. But get your shit together, get your shopping done, have gifts, plans. You're probably already fucked if you want to get a reservation. It's too late for that, but start planning something you can make. If you don't cook, start watching YouTube videos, figure out how to make something. Then you'll really just blow our mind. So there's your pro tip. There's your heads up. Thank you all. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, all that happy bullshit. You guys rock. Thank you. Don't forget to go down once more. Later.